The Mandalorian is the best received Star Wars story since Rogue One, and although Season 3 didn't hit the heights of Season 2, fans are still eagerly awaiting Din Djarin's return. Well, brace yourselves because it looks like huge changes are happening to Season 4.
This is the way.
However, it's not all good news.
What do you mean, no?
We'll kick things off by looking at this article over on Bespin Bulletin, and then we'll get into why these changes are likely being made and how it could go on to affect Star Wars going forwards. So, The Mandalorian Season 4 reportedly being turned into a movie, the next Star Wars film to be released. Jeff Schneider of The Hot Mic has taken to his podcast to share an update on the next Star Wars movie, which might come as a shock to some readers, but not to all that have been following this site in recent months. Before delving into what he has heard, Schneider shared on his latest episode of his podcast The Hot Mic, which he co-hosts with John Rosher, that things in the film industry have changed, including plans due to the Writers Guild of America strike and SAG-AFTRA strike, and that this in particular has impacted Star Wars. Pre-strike, Snyder reported that the Daisy Ridley-led untitled Star Wars movie was set to be the next Star Wars film to be released, and that Lucasfilm were eyeing an April 2024 start. Schneider, as well as the Hollywood trades and various insiders, all pointed towards the Ridley film being the first Star Wars movie to release since 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. That is what I'd been hearing myself. However, Snyder is now hearing that the Ridley-led new Jedi Order movie is seemingly no longer the next Star Wars film looking to release in theatres. This is all becoming a bit of a running joke at this stage. I think we've all been operating under the impression that the Daisy Ridley movie was going to be the next Star Wars movie. I know I certainly was. They announced like 3 movies and I was like, oh, the Daisy Ridley one is the furthest along, I think, and it has a director and all of that. Anyway, doesn't sound like that may be the next one. The news regarding the Ridley film may come as a surprise, given that just recently the film's lead, Daisy Ridley herself, shared that she believes her Star Wars film, set to be directed by Shemana Bay-Chinoy, was set to be the next Star Wars movie released in theatres. The next Star Wars film slated to be released is on May the 22nd, 2026. Schneider is now hearing from his Disney source that this is no longer the case, and went on to share that the next Star Wars film to be released will actually be the 4th season of The Mandalorian, which is now taking shape as a movie instead of a season of TV, Snyder said. And I do apologise if you can hear dogs barking in the background. My dog and I think the neighbour's dog are having a contest on who can bark the loudest. So this is all a little bit bizarre if you ask me. What actually is going to happen to the Rey movie then? Is it going to come out in May 26 still? And the Mandalorian Season 4 movie is going to come out a little bit before then, maybe even the end of 2025? Or is the Rey movie going to move into the Filoni movie slot, which was down for December 26? Or is it going to go even further back and get pushed into 2027? A couple of months ago, I shot this one down that there were rumours that Season 4 of The Mandalorian could be turned into a movie. I think at the time, I didn't think that was necessarily the case. However, that is now what I'm starting to hear, that the odds are in the project's favour. Whatever Season 4 of The Mandalorian turns out to be, whoever's in it, what it turns out, whatever shape it takes, it looks like it could be the next Star Wars movie, and that might be the thing that's announced before the end of the year. So yeah, we're meant to be getting some kind of Star Wars official announcement before the end of December. So it makes you wonder, will Pedro Pascal actually be in this Mandalorian Season 4 movie with all the other stuff he's got going on with The Last of Us and all his other projects? Or will it be a case of one of the stunt doubles being in a costume and him coming in afterwards to do the voiceovers, which is largely what he done for Season 3? You'd have to think Disney would want Pedro Pascal in this movie. The big name that he is right now, it would be a big draw for the general audience to go and see a Mandalorian movie if Pedro Pascal is actually the face of it. Well, when you come to think about it, it actually kind of makes sense as to why Disney and Lucasfilm would make The Mandalorian into a movie. It's easily their most successful Star Wars story since the sequel trilogy, and it's the best received Star Wars story they've done since Rogue One, and it might actually be on par with Rogue One, and it depends who you ask. Some fans actually prefer it. And Pedro Pascal, as I mentioned, he's very much hot property in Hollywood at the moment. They've got him attached to this project already. If they can get him in as a lead for a Star Wars movie, then it's going to put bums on seats. They have Disney taking that into account and they want to capitalize on it, or is something a little bit more sinister, a little bit more negative actually at play here? You see, the Rey movie, the new Jedi Order movie, was meant to be the next Star Wars movie to come out, and that's been spoke about for months and months, most of the year, to be honest with you. Well, it's actually recently come out that the script is not ready yet, although it was meant to be handed in by Thanksgiving. So either he's very slow with the writing, he just hasn't got it done and it's late getting in, so they're trying to push that movie back a bit, or he's handed the script in and it's just no good and we can expect another writer to come on board in the near future. Now, I have my own thoughts, which we'll get into in a moment, on why this is actually happening, but from a fan's perspective, it just seems very odd that they're going to make The Mandalorian, going into its 4th season, into a movie. And my poll that I put out on the community tab yesterday suggests that a lot of you feel the same way. You know, it's no secret that The Mandalorian Season 3 wasn't the strongest, and it definitely didn't live up to the hype that came with Season 2, so it just seems a little bit bizarre as to why they think now is the ideal time to take it into the big screen, and they should have probably have done it just after Season 2. And we're only literally waiting on 2 Star Wars Disney Plus shows to be done at the moment. The Mandalorian Season 4, which could be a movie, and Ahsoka Season 2. So where does that fit into all of this with Filoni's movie around the corner as well? Is that also going to be promoted to the big screen? Now, my best take as to why this change came to be, and it's pretty optimistic if you're Lucasfilm, to be honest with you as well, is because of the strikes in the summer. They weren't able to cast for the Rey movie, but they weren't also able to finish the script for the Rey movie. They came out, or I think it was Kathleen Kennedy came out a little while back and said that they didn't want to rush this next Star Wars movie. They wanted to make sure it was right. They wanted to make sure it captured just what Star Wars is about, whereas the sequel trilogy, they were rushed by Disney and only got 2 years between each film. So perhaps that has a part to play in this as well. But then also, if they want to hit that deadline and put a Star Wars movie out, because it has been a long time, they look at The Mandalorian Season 4. Favreau said himself a few months ago that the script is done. The cast are largely already there because they appeared in the first 3 seasons of Mando. Perhaps you'll get some in there from the Ahsoka show. Maybe you'll get some more Shin in there as well. Maybe you'll get some in there from the Book of Boba Fett. The cast is there, the story's there. It'll take a little bit of tweaking by Favreau, but to be honest with you, half of the episodes of a season of The Mandalorian are largely filler episodes anyway, where they go off on a side quest. So if they cut them out, then they've got a streamlined movie. So taking all of that into account, they could get a Mandalorian movie out much faster than a Rey movie. Now it makes me wonder, are they just looking at the short term here, or are they also looking at the long term? It's no secret The Mandalorian is the flagship series on Disney+. For them to take it away from Disney+, it makes you think, what are they actually going to do there then? Because the only other project we've got actually waiting to kick off is Ahsoka Season 2. The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew are already done and dusted. So what are they going to do with Disney Plus going forwards without The Mandalorian? If they move him to the big screen and it's a success, he's never going to go back to streaming. But if it does poorly, it's going to make Lucasfilm question what Star Wars movies they're going to put in the theaters going forwards. We already know they don't learn the right lessons from their mistakes. Now, I don't think The Mandalorian Season 4 becoming a movie is the right move myself, but let's see how it goes. One bonus, I guess, coming out of this would be that it should have a big movie budget. So you could get some of the original trilogy characters appear in the show with some decent de-aging budgets that they wouldn't have for a Disney Plus show. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll catch you in the next one. May the Force be with you.